It's review. It's John Ruffle here, and today I am working on a guitar that's been precious to a friend of ours for many years. It's not a high-end guitar at all, but it needs a lot of tender loving care to it, and this has been used for street busking for years and years and years. As you can see, this guitar is victim of these people that don't change all their guitar strings at once. They change them one at a time if they need to, and so it's just accumulated crud and everything all over it. Interesting, this one is actually got a broken bridge pin that I'm going to have to repair. If we look at the headstock, the tuners don't actually match. But what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to be looking to see if the tuners actually work smoothly. I think the tuner that's tuning the G string looks very stiff to me. I'm going to see if I can rectify it without having to replace the tuners, because the person I'm doing this guitar for doesn't want me to put a lot of money into it. And so what I'm basically doing is trying to restore it to playable condition. She's actually a far better guitarist than this guitar would lead you to believe. So it's a pity really that we can't get it to a more high-end guitar. Perhaps that will come next. But having said that, the guitar is like a pet. And you know, you grow attached to a pet, and I think this particular friend of ours has grown attached to this Encore guitar. It's an Encore model W250. So I've not actually checked that. It's laminate top, and I think with new strings, slightly lowered action, bridge pin fixed, and so forth, hopefully she'll be very happy with the results. So I'll show you a few odds and bits as we go along. Of course, first task, as always, is removing the old strings. So I'm just selecting them off, and I'm just going to cut them. It's a bit scary cutting strings, but of course strings are replaceable, as you know. Should be. But this G string tuner, it seems very stiff. I think at the very least I'm going to have to dismantle it and grease it up. So greasing it, hopefully that will make it a lot smoother. As I say, the first job is always to take the strings off, and we can really assess the condition of the guitar and clean it up, of course, because it really, really does need a good clean. Right, there's the 6 strings off. Just clear them out the way. And some people really like to keep the string ends and not cut them off. But what they end up doing is, that's all looking very untidy, as you can see these are. And also they can give you a nasty cut if you get your fingers in the way of them. So I'm just going to take these. These have been on for years. So that's one off. No rush to do this. I think the owner of the guitar doesn't want me to cut the strings really, really short. So we'll see where we are with that. I've got to be careful to make sure I don't cut myself removing those 3 strings off. Oh, she obviously didn't cut these at all. Get the idea. There is some string recycling going on in America. So far, I've not come across any string recycling in Britain, and I've been involved in recycling since 1971 at Penn State University. So all this hype about recycling that's the last few years saved the planet. Well, we were trying to save the planet donkeys years ago, before many of you guys watching this were even born. And yeah, I don't like throwing old strings in the bin. I'd far rather collect them up and recycle them. So I don't keep you guys for too long. I'm going to snip this. Off easier. Come on. Right, so in real time, you've seen me take off all the strings here, and you can get a better idea of the state of play of this guitar. Just cosmetically, it's very, very dusty. But that's going to be sorted out in no short order. So that, there goes that. Now I've just got to do the, getting off the bridge pins. One of which I said earlier is broken. Right, there's an easy way of taking out bridge pins, and it involves just taking your capo, we call it, and most capos these days have got a bridge pin remover on the end of it, and so that is by far the easiest way of getting your bridge pins removed. Of course, this guitar does have a broken bridge pin. We'll deal with that in a minute. Let's take these out. And I'm going to keep them in order. On this guitar, it probably won't matter, but if we were working on a really high-end guitar, try and keep everything as it comes off the guitar, because we don't want to change anything unnecessarily. Let's ease it out. Bridge pins there. Now the bottom E bridge pin probably won't come out without me going underneath the guitar, which I'm going to have to do in just a moment, and pushing it from underneath. Now I've got my right hand inside the sound hole. I'm pressing up on that pin, and here it is. It's come up, get my hand up. There we go. And here is the, as you can see, it'll focus. That is the broken bridge pin there. So of course, that is no good at all. We do now have all 6 strings off the guitar. So the next thing we can do is begin to clean it up. Okay, let's put the microphone back on. Sorry about that. Later on, we're going to be using special guitar cleaner. This is Dreadnaut 65, and that's for the wood of the guitar. The wood except for the fretboard, not the fretboard, but the top, the sides, and the headstock. But because the guitar hasn't been cleaned in such a long time, what I've done is I've taken some of you guys are going to freak out at this. I've taken some water and a little bit of fairy liquid, and I'm just going to take some toilet roll, and I'm going to just dab it. If you've got a spray, that's better still, but don't ever apply any spray direct to any part of the guitar. And I don't want to take any responsibility for this. If you've got a Martin guitar or a Taylor or something, then I'm not sure that I'd recommend doing this. But if you can see, there's so much dirt on this, I just want to slowly get the dirt off without scratching the finish. That you can see just 2 wipes, and you can see the amount of dirt. So I'll fold it over, dip it again, and just go for it one more time here. I mean, guitar wood isn't that different from other wood. It's just, and by the way, if you've got an old finish on a guitar, don't do this. So be very cautious about how you clean your guitar. I'm going to dry it off a bit. Still a lot of crud on it. Let's stop there. It's getting a little bit better. That gets thrown in the bin. Again, toilet tissue is soft, so you can use something that is soft. I've also got kitchen towel. As you know, kitchen towel is actually a far more durable material. I don't recommend it. And the other thing, of course, you can use is a regular duster, which we'll be using in a minute at the later stage. I'm still trying to get the main crud off this guitar. Okay, we're now at the stage we're going to put some guitar polish on it. Dunlop 65. I'm just going to put a couple of drips onto my polishing cloth. Two doses there. We will now see to polish it. Light on. Should be able to see that a lot better now. I love doing these restoration jobs, and this guitar is special because the person I'm doing it for has done a lot of street busking down in London, in the underground, and she's owned this guitar for many, many years. So, you know, although it's, you know, a quote low-end guitar in terms of the build and everything, mass-produced guitar, I know to this individual we're doing it for, it's a very special instrument. And so there's no way I'm going to put any less effort or care into this guitar than I would if it was my own Alvarez or Ovation or any other guitar or somebody else's guitar. So, you know, that's the way I work. I can't work any other way. I won't work on the guitar unless I can work to the best of my ability to make this instrument something that the owner is going to feel a real pride again in ownership. And I can put the time into this that she can't. So I'm hoping that she's going to be really, really happy when she gets this back. Right, that's the preliminary polish on the headstock. And you've seen it pretty much in real time. And so you can get some idea of, you know, it's not a lengthy process. You don't have to be scared of it. And already It's looking 1,000 times better than it was just a few minutes ago.